Over the past week, Treyarch has given us updates on the characters coming to Black Ops Cold War. They've given us information on Frank Woods, they've given us information on Alex Mason, and of course, Jason Hudson as well. If you didn't already know, those are all of the returning characters to the Black Ops universe. They're the ones that were in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, but there's also another subset of characters that are brand new to Black Ops Cold War. In fact, there's 4 of them, but there's one that is more shrouded in mysteries than any of the others, even more so than Mason or Woods or any of the other characters, and that is Russell Adler. So today, what I thought we would do, since Treyarch gave us information on them, is first of all, go over all of the new characters coming to the game and their backstories. But what you'll notice about their backstories is that they all tie back to one character. And I think there's a little bit more of a mystery to that than originally meets the eye. So this video, we are going to be diving into the mystery of Russell Adler. I want you to keep in mind that what I'm about to say are not my words. This is what was written about Adler by Treyarch. Born in 1937, Adler has become a mystery even to those who have worked by his side for years. His history before the CIA in 1966 is known only to a few within Langley. In 1967, Adler was assigned to the MACV SOG unit in Vietnam, investigating covert Soviet activity. Now what's interesting is that is the exact same unit that Woods and Mason were in 1968 in Vietnam, once again investigating Soviet activity, just 2 years after Adler was doing so. So my prediction is either 1, Adler got captured, and maybe that could potentially explain the scars on Adler's face, or 2, there's something else that we don't know yet. After Vietnam, Adler disappeared from the CIA records but continued to be affiliated with a number of clandestine operations. He possesses a cold confidence that commands the room. He rarely smiles but maintains a biting, dry wit, capable of switching between disarming charisma and emotionless brutality in an instant. Adler enjoys intimidating those around him and excels at it. His deep knowledge of covert tactics, fluency in Russian and German, and mastery of espionage make him one of the few key operatives that the CIA can consistently rely upon. In January of 1981, Adler sets out to assemble a covert strike team of new and familiar faces to track down a lead in the city of Amsterdam. These are tried and true operatives he believes he can trust to get the job done. But where this trail leads, only time will tell. So this is where things start to get interesting with the team that he ends up putting together, because some of these operators he knows and trusts, while others have a different story altogether. There's 3 that we have to go over. Now the first character that we have on the team is by the name of Helen Park, who is British. She entered Oxford at the young age of 16. While working on her doctorate in international relations, her older brother was severely injured in an IRA car bomb attack in London, leading her to immediately drop out of the program. She began to study the origins and motivations of international paramilitary organizations, eventually leading her to join the ranks of MI6. Basically, she's James Bond. After several years of international assignments, Park was placed on protection service for 2 British scientists. Under Park's watch, the team was set to travel to a clandestine location to collaborate with the CIA on an official sponsored project. This has me really interested. As we know with the Nova 6 gas in previous games, I'm curious to see who these British scientists are and how they tie into the overall Black Ops story. They don't really go into that much in this article. At this point is when she met Adler, a key figure in the new program, and she personally took to an expanded role in its development. Afterwards, she would join Adler on an ad hoc black operations team, utilizing the fruits of their labor together. However, the interests of MI6 and the Crown always come first for Park, whether her new partners know it or not. Now, they don't really give us much more information as to how she ties into Black Ops as a game. We know she's going to be on Adler's team, but we don't know much more. The fact that both Adler and her were working with these British scientists tells me that something big will happen with that, and those scientists will somehow maybe tie into Nova 6 gas or something along those lines. I'm interested to see where that goes. Next, we move to probably the most entrenched character with Lawrence Sims. Born on February 4th, 1942 at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Lawrence Sims has been entrenched in military culture his entire life, for better or for worse. After the loss of his father, he developed a laid-back and lightly sarcastic persona, studying the world with a detached amusement. Sims quickly immersed himself in the world of technology, both military and consumer, quietly focusing on following in his father's footsteps. After receiving a scholarship and graduating from Rochester Institute of Technology, Sims entered the Army, where he served for 2 years before joining the ranks of the CIA. There, he quickly became known for his keen intelligence, pragmatism, and the ability to solve intraceable problems. This is really interesting with the idea of puzzles and codes and everything that they're putting forward with Black Ops Cold War. Obviously, this is going to be of huge importance. Now, continuing on with his story, in a twist of fate, his first major assignment was a placement on Russell Adler's SOG team in Vietnam. Remember, this was in 1967, where he immediately became one of Adler's favorite cohorts. Sims has continued to be a constant presence on Adler's teams ever since, including the faithful operation that would bring him face to face with Alex Mason and Frank Woods. So there are so many things that are interesting about this. First of all, this seems to be Adler's right-hand man, the person he can trust the most, the person they've worked together with the longest. Now, at the very end there, you might have noticed that it doesn't explain when the operation where Frank Woods and Alex Mason met Sims. They didn't say whether it's in 1981 in the new game or whether this was back in 1967 in Vietnam. Because remember, like I said before, in Black Ops 1, Woods and Mason both take over the SOG division in Vietnam in the year 1968, 1 year after Sims and Adler were there. So do they meet in Vietnam? Do they not know each other at all? Where does this relationship go? To me, this is interesting, and I'm curious if there's a further history between Woods, Mason, Adler, and Sims. It's something that I am super interested in and one of the mysteries I want to see answered. So the final character that we have is by far the most interesting in my opinion. Now, there's a couple reasons for that, but first of all, his name is Lazar Azule. There we go. That is a tongue twister, but we'll just call him Lazar for short. So in 1948, Lazar was the second child born to professor of political science at the American University in Washington, D.C. In 1950, Lazar's father accepted a position at the Tel Aviv School of Law and Economics, moving his family to Israel in order to be closer to his ailing parents. As a teenager, Azule stood out for his athleticism and strength, excelling on every team he was a member of. Now, one reason why I find Lazar interesting is because this image you're seeing here is basically the best image we have of Lazar. There's no closer up image, and essentially, from what we know of him, he's kind of like the brute force character, the strong one, the fast one, the athletic one. Now, at this time, he went for 4 years at the Royal Holloway University in London, where he began to go by the name of Lazar. At this time, the young Azule entered the Israel Defense Force. Following a distinguished stint, he was recruited into Israel's intelligence agency known as the Mossad. There, Lazar developed a reputation not only for explosive power, but also for his unflappability. Okay, there's no way that that's a real word. Well, shit. Now, the end of Lazar's bio says, after several years working alongside agents of the CIA, Lazar decided to leave the Mossad, utilizing his dual citizenship to join the CIA directly as a Middle East specialist. In early 1981, his talents will be pushed to their limits as he joins with a new team against an unknown global threat. Obviously, that threat is Perseus. But the interesting thing about this, and the reason why I say he is the most interesting character to me, is throughout his entire bio, there is no tie to Mason, there is no tie to Woods, there is no tie to Adler. He is the one character that is brand new in this squad in the CIA. He hasn't worked with any of them before, whereas all the rest of them, Sims, Park, Woods, Mason, they've all kind of worked together inside the CIA in one way or another, whereas Lazar did not. So that interests me. It's one thing that's different with his character than any other. Now, at this point, you may be wondering why I titled the video The Mystery of Russell Adler, when we just talked about a bunch of background information. Well, you see, from the year 1967 to 1981, all we have about Adler is that he worked in some clandestine operations for the CIA, off the books, off the record, and there is no recorded evidence of it. So with this, there is a giant chunk of time where we know nothing everything about this character. At this point, when you look at his face, there's a giant scar and you don't know where it's from. Was he held captive? Or, as some people are guessing, is he actually Perseus? Now, as of right now, I have 0 of these answers. The game isn't out yet. I haven't played the campaign. I have seen little bits and pieces of the campaign, but that is pretty much it. I believe that Russell Adler is going to be a definitive piece of Black Ops Cold War, one who will have a massive effect on the overall story of the campaign. And this mystery is deepened when we look at his team and when we look at all of the background information. And essentially, that's what I wanted to do with this video, was lay out the background of Russell Adler, so that way when the game comes out, we'll have a better idea of what we're actually looking at when we come to seeing him in the game. But this is all we know as of right now for Russell Adler. I'm curious what you think down in the comments. If you enjoy these type of videos, want to see more of them, the best way to show me is by hitting that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're new to the channel, like what you see. We are less than 100,000 subscribers away from 1 million, so if you want to join me on the road to 1 mil, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for